This is the test. Can Tony work the technology?
Yes.
Yes, he can. Okay, so Dan's here today as part of Street Pastor Sunday, which is the first time street pastors have done this, and street pastors are trying to get a Sunday each year when the churches that are involved in street pastors and churches across the island get involved, think about street pastors, pray about street pastors, and so on. So there were 3 members of Street Pastors staff that were available to help, right? So this was a great privilege to get Dan, who jumped at the chance to come to church on the roundabout. So thank you, Dan, for that. I think this fits in really well with the fact that we've had the Over the Wall series running here, because Street Pastors is very much about part of our work that we do as a church in the community. Now, at the moment, we don't have any active street or school pastors or prayer pastors in the church, but we have historically had, and this church has been a big supporter of the street and school pastor scheme. Our only link to them in terms of active involvement at the moment is me, because actually I as part of my job, my Over the Wall, I work as a charity consultant part of the time, and one of the charities I work for and have worked for since almost the beginning is Isle of Wight Street Pastors. So I work a couple of days a month supporting the team with some of the things that really they don't want to do. I think that's fair, isn't it, really?
It is fair, yeah.
So I do the things that they think are boring behind the scenes to keep things running.
Or we're just incapable of.
And I quite like some of those boring things, so it kind of works for me. But it's been a real pleasure for me to work with street pastors over nearly 8 years now, I think. And Dan's been school pastors coordinator for a couple of years.
Yeah, 2 and a bit.
Yeah, and sadly Dan's actually standing down at the end of this year. So you're very lucky to get him. This is going to be one of the last times he's seen in public, at least outside of...
What's happening?
At least outside of the West White, because Dan's giving over more of his time to his work in the West White with Youth for Christ. But have no fear, School Pastors is not going to collapse. We're really fortunate that we appointed an administrator 2 years ago as well. Oh, blimey, time flies. And Karen, who's currently the administrator, is actually taking over. She's already trained as a volunteer school pastor, and she's going to be taking over from Dan at the beginning of the year. And we've just offered somebody the job of the administrator as well. So everything's going really well on that front. But anyway, I shan't bore you anymore with that. I'm going to hand over to Dan, who's going to tell you a bit more about what street and school pastors do.
Cool. Yeah. That's great. Thanks, Martin. Yeah. Oh, I'm throwing stuff on the floor. Sorry, that's just mine. Shall I move? Do you want me to move this? Is that helpful? You can just put it there. Perfect. Fantastic. Well, it's really, really great to be with you this morning. It is. It's a real privilege. I've not been to the church on the roundabout for quite a while, so it's really nice to be back again. And it's quite fun. Like, I feel so encouraged already by everything that's sort of been talked about this morning, because what I'm here to talk to you about is something that is clearly right at the heart of what you are already about. That's what I was scribbling down a minute ago, Tony. What I want to say right at the start is you guys are doing great. This is amazing. Like, what you're doing as Church on the Roundabout is fantastic. I know that you have such a heart and a passion to serve those who are in need, and I think that's awesome. And that is exactly what we're about as street and school pastors. And I just want to say, like, straight away, you guys, without any prompting from me, clearly prompted from God, are already in line with our heart for this island, for the people that are here. So that's really cool. Can I read to you a few verses from the Bible? I don't know whose Bible this is up here, but I'm going to commandeer it for a moment, if that's okay. Thank you. Otherwise I have to get my phone out. And it's from 1 John chapter 4. And I'm going to read verses 15 to 19. It says this: "If anyone acknowledges that Jesus is the Son of God, God lives in him and he in God. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in him. In this way, love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment, because in this world we are like him. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. We love because he, God, first loved us." I love those verses. I absolutely love them. I think they speak of the real heart behind what we do, and I'm going to come on to that in just a second. I've got a magic clicker here, and we'll see if it does magic or if it messes everything up. Oh. That's all right. We'll be back in a minute. I'll carry on. We, the street and school pastors, we exist to mobilise the church into action. We want to give the people of God an accessible way to communicate the love of God to the world that he made and loves. And we want to do that through making a practical difference. And as I've already said, you guys are already doing lots of this, so good work, keep it up. I want to offer you today another way that you can be involved in God's mission on earth. We want to show the world that we care, and ultimately that God cares too. In those verses that we've read, it tells us that God loves us and that we are called to love the world. We love because God first loved us. We know God's great love for us because he sent Jesus to die on the cross for us. That's shown us his unlimited love, his unending love, his incredible, amazing grace. And we are called to love the world in the same way. Right, let's say, yes, spot on. There you go, mobilise the church into action, showing the world that we care and that he cares. Right, moving on. We love because he first loved us. This is good, we're catching up. We are God's hands and his feet on earth, aren't we? We are the people of God, called to love the world as he has already loved us. It's amazing to have received that love for ourselves, but how could we hold on to that? Like we're called. We must pass that on. We must share it. Now, what I think is pretty great. I've got a couple of little statistics here for you, which for me are absolutely heart-wrenching and quite painful. But it says to me these sort of worldly statistics. They tell me that we need to be doing more of what we're already doing. The first one it's about self-harm, and it says 25% or 1 in 4 of 14 to 25-year-olds have self-harmed. Now, self-harm may or may not be something you've come across before or may have heard about, but it is absolutely rife in today's society. It's something that so many young people are struggling with in a real serious way. The second statistic is that not only have they done it once, but 10% have done it repeatedly. And self-harm is a really difficult thing to get your head around if you've not been there. And I thankfully and wonderfully haven't. But I've spoken to lots of young people who have, and it's really hard and it's really painful. To hear of someone who's struggling with life, who maybe has a lack of control over a bunch of different areas of life, that they want to control something, and that might be causing themselves pain. There's a lot of fear in the world. This shows that to me. There's a lot of fear in the world. Fear of being alone, or of having no money, or of not meaning anything, or a sense of hopelessness. There's so much fear. Young people need hope. We all need hope, don't we? And what I love about being a follower of Jesus is that we can be dealers of hope. You have to be careful how you say that. Yeah. But in the verses I read just a minute ago, it tells me this. There's an answer. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. There is no fear in love. Perfect love drives out fear. We, as the church, we're called to share this love because it's powerful. It's a powerful love. It's not a weak love. It's not a pathetic love. It's not just romantic and it's not just that bursts into life and then dies off. It's an unending, a powerful, life-changing, transforming love. And we have the privilege of sharing that with others. And that is the most amazing thing for me about street and school pastors. That is what we want to do. We want to be sharing this powerful love with the world. And we do that in very practical ways, especially as street pastors. It's very, very practical based. I've got a few props just to illustrate. I know you've already seen the video, so you know lots of this already. Is there anyone who's willing to look amusing this morning? Tony! You?
I was going to point to Martin.
Or Martin, yeah. Or anyone else. Sally, yeah. Anyone's good. Anyway, there's a few. Tony, do you want to? You don't get to look that amusing, to be honest. It's just quite cool. There's a few different things that street pastors give out that I think are very practical, helpful things. How are your shoes this evening, Tony?
My shoes are good.
How are your feet? Are they very painful from the heels that you're wearing?
My heels broke.
Oh. One of the things that we give out are flip-flops because many, generally females, struggle with their heels when they're out partying late at night. They decide that their heels have become uncomfortable and so they take them off. But the danger is that there's lots of broken glass around on the street. So they walk around with bare feet and then they get a horrible shard of glass stuck in their foot. So street pastors are armed with flip-flops. So would you like to pop them on? No, that's fine. Don't go away. That's it. Are you going to go for it? You don't have to.
My feet are horrible. I hate my feet. I haven't got many bad things.
You don't have to. It's okay.
Years of football ruined my feet.
Right, go on.
I hate saying that.
Sorry, Tony, I picked on the one thing, didn't I?
Yeah. See, my feet are beautiful, so that's all right.
Oh, get off it. They are nice, aren't they? We used to have some blue ones. I think we still have. You got, yeah? These. They are genuinely really good. Amazing. And you know what? It saves the NHS loads of money, flip-flops, because they have to spend loads of money fixing people's feet up all the time. And if they just put some flip-flops on, hey presto, fantastic. Thanks, Ali. Are you willing to continue being my right? Tony, you're off the hook. That's good. Right. The next thing I've got for you is because it's quite cold. I mean, you're quite sensibly dressed today, so that's good. Some people, when they go out, are less sensibly dressed, and so street pastors are armed with foil blankets. This is actually like a poncho. I've not seen this one before. This is incredible. Right, can you put that over your head, and then your arms. There should be some arms. Yeah. Yes. Nearly. Yeah. Keep going, and there should be a head. Oi! Fantastic. Very nice. That's quite good, isn't it? Yeah. I've not seen these before. That's quite exciting. I was expecting it just to be a blanket. It's quite fetching, isn't it? Lovely. Absolutely, yeah. They are an absolute lifesaver and a dignity saver. Like if you're on the floor throwing up, who knows what might happen. Foil blanket, really simple, really cheap, but really amazing at keeping people warm and everything like that. Oh, I'm going to just flick onto the next slide and you'll see some pictures that will accompany this. So that's a winner. That's good, isn't it? It's not you. Okay. Oh, it's Rebecca. It's so funny. I forgot that you guys will know lots of the
models.
The models, that's the word. That's good.
20. Yeah.
This is a few years ago though. That's a few years ago. Right, now, I've got a couple more things in here. Nothing. One other thing that we give out is bottles of water. People obviously drinking too much alcohol, water's good for that, dehydration, sorted. And then finally, there are a few other bits and pieces that we hand out, but these are the main ones, I think. You'll be pleased. Do you guys ever get really disappointed when someone brings like a tub, or it says celebrations on it, and then you open it up, and it's got like, I don't know, like boring, like rich tea biscuits, and you're like, you're kidding me, I wanted to celebrate. Don't worry. Would you like, now, hang on a minute. Now, the reason behind, I'll tell you what, let's see if anyone can guess. Why do you think we might give out little sweets or chocolates or lollies? Anyone? Diffuse arguments, absolutely. These are like miracle worker things. They are. If you have a couple of guys who are, getting a bit aggressive with each other, and a naive, innocent street pastor wanders up to them and says, "All right, guys, do you want a lollipop?" You can't really imagine them like getting feisty, can you? They're like, "Oh," like, as we heard on the video. I don't know if you noticed. There's one situation. Would you like this? Or you can choose.
Do you have to be aggressive first?
No. I was going to make it, and then I got scared. Yeah, be scared. Oh, that's sad. You can have another one. One of the little quotes on the video was there was an argument, and he asked for a drumstick. I love that. You got any drumsticks? I love that. That's brilliant. Anyway, do you want? I hear that this is one of your favourite things at Church on the Roundabout. Is that right? Yeah. You ready? Yeah. Whee! Whee! Okay.
Go for a bit harder.
Bit further. Whee! Oh, sorry. Try not to hit anyone in the head. At the back. Oh my goodness, that's a bit low. Okay. More? It's raining chocolate. That's what we love. Everyone happy? Save some for the kids later. Is that all right? No. Right, good. I think that's good. Thank you so much. You've been very helpful. Give a round of applause. You can hold on to your items. Fantastic. Now, what is one of the most amazing messages that street pastors give, which I've been thinking about quite a lot this week, is grace. Like, it doesn't matter who it is, or what they've done, or what they're doing. We want to show them unconditional love and grace. We don't go out there to judge. We don't go out there to point fingers and say, you shouldn't be doing this or that. We are out there to show God's love, God's grace to them. We live in a world that is ungracious, aren't we? We are living in a world full of ungrace. I've been reading a book called What's So Amazing About Grace by Philip Yancey, and I've only read like the first 2 chapters, and I'm like, wow, grace is amazing. Like, absolutely crazy. Like nothing in this world is free. Like nothing. Everything you have to earn or work hard for. There's no grace in this world. The church needs to be full of grace. We have to be full of grace. We are the only gracious light in the world, and we've got to shine it bright. And that is one of the things that I love about the street and school pastors. We are all about grace. Like we don't. It doesn't matter what you're doing or where you're from or what you've said or what you're doing. We want to love you. God loves you. Do you know that God loves you? You need to receive his grace. So we're not the police. We're not there to tell them off. We just want to help. We just want to love. We want to be with them. One incident that just shows how powerful street pastors are. No, it doesn't. No, sorry, that's not right. It doesn't show how powerful street pastors. It shows how powerful Jesus is at work in street pastors. Some street pastors had the privilege of talking to an individual who was considering suicide. And they talked with them a while, and they left in a much more positive frame of mind. And like just something as simple as that, like that's just amazing, isn't it? To find someone who's all alone, who's, as I said, fearful, broken, hopeless, and to find find that there are people who love them and want to show them unconditional love is life-changing. So that's what street pastors do. That's what we're all about. And school pastors is similar, but we're sort of less of a focus on practical things, because generally school students don't need flip-flops. They should have access to water. They shouldn't be drunk. So there's less of a need for those practical things. But we do still provide reassurance, safety and support through listening, caring and helping. And as I mentioned earlier, we're at the moment we're up at Medina College and Carisbrooke College. We go in three times a week between the two schools. And we have different teams each day. And we go in at lunchtimes. We wander around the college and just chat and just get to know the kids. And you know, we're there for them. And it's interesting because over time they get used to you and they get more open to chatting. We've recently started to play games with them as well. I don't know if any of you have played the card game Dobble or Spot It, I think it's sometimes called. It's genius. It's just a very simple card game, and you can just pull it out of your pocket, and you don't have to go anywhere. You don't even need a table, and you can play it. And they get really chatty, and they get really competitive, and it's really fun. And it's a great way of building a relationship with the students. And you know, over time, they build up that confidence and that trust in you, knowing that we're not going to go and tell on them. We're not going to go and tell the teachers that they're smoking down behind the bike sheds or whatever. We're there for them. We're there to support them. We're not dinner ladies. We're not teachers. You know, we are there for them. One of the important things we do is interrupting bullying. You know, just there to interrupt it. Just the presence of a friendly adult face makes a massive difference. It's really, really important. We get to be Jesus at school. That's a pretty cool privilege. There's not nothing more exciting than that to me. Like, to get to be Jesus in a place that is so in need of him is really awesome. Just like a little while ago, we were chatting to a group of students, and one of them, as we walked over to them, said hi. I go, hello, how you doing? All right, how's your day? You know, been chatting and stuff. And then straight away she said, that's weird, I don't usually talk to people. I'm like, what? It turned out she was actually quite a confident young person, but had no interest in sharing anything with anyone. And she went on to talk to us about her life, and it was really amazing. It was quite hard to hear. Some of it was quite broken. She had really low self-esteem, but we were able to just chat to her and speak life and truth over her. To actually, you know, that stuff that you're saying, that's not true. Like, you don't need to believe that. That's not what it is. And she was really positive after talking to us. Just some really simple things like that brings hope and life into those situations. That girl who, was often in trouble and didn't have many positive words being spoken over her, met with Jesus that day, and like we were just able to, just talk to her and say, like, look, it's okay. Like, we love you. Like, and just being there, being practical, just being like, it's okay. Just being someone who's there to listen and to care makes a huge difference in their life. Now, all of this is would be completely useless if it wasn't underpinned by prayer. And we have dedicated prayer pastors who are committed to one of our teams, as in we have volunteers and they work with a team. So we have for example, on a Tuesday we have 4 school pastors and we have two prayer pastors, and they go into the school alongside the school pastors, and they sit in one of the rooms. We have a room dedicated. This is our little office at Medina, and they sit and we pray together before the school pastors go out, and then when they return, they pray together again. And while the school pastors are wandering around the school, the prayer pastors stay and they pray, and we have radio contact with them. And what I love, though, is that sometimes we don't need the radio because Jesus is already speaking to the prayer pastors about what to be praying for. And that makes a real difference. We would be so useless without prayer. Like, we would have no impact at all. We wouldn't make any difference in anyone's lives. But with prayer, it makes a massive difference. So, I love the work that we do. As you hear, I'm going to take this off. I've just realised I've had it on the whole time. I love what we do. It's really exciting. I'm sad to be stepping down it's at sort of December, I'm sort of going to be stepping down, but I'm really excited that Karen's going to be taking it on because she's